So this weekend we have Bellator 301 going down. Uh, Potentially going to be the last Bellator card, at least as a separate entity. From what I've heard, the PFL have bought the PFL, so I think they are going to keep the brand going. So that'll be interesting to see what PFL even do with Bellator after that. But at the very least, this will be the last time we see Bellator as like an independent promotion at the very least. But anyway, we have the first fight of the night, which is Javziz Landu versus Isao Kobashi. I don't really know much about either guy. Everyone seems to be picking Landu, but Isao is younger and it is featherweight. He's got more wins, consistent wins. So I'm going to go with Isao. Not super confident. I haven't watched any tape on either man, if I'm being completely honest, but I'm going to go with Isao. But then moving on to the next fight, Ramazan Kurmagomedov versus Randall Wallace. I do know Ramazan. I have watched him fight. Not gonna lie, he's not the most entertaining fighter most of the time, but he is a very good fighter, very good wrestling, very dominant with his wrestling. Did have a very close fight with Jordan Williams, but Jordan Williams also went out and slept Gregory Rodriguez, so these things happen in mixed martial arts, especially at middleweight. But, he is decent. He's decent. I expect him to win this fight against Randall Wallace. Wallace, 34 years old. Ramazan, 27, much younger. And, Randall Wallace, he's fought at lightweight before. I imagine he's going to be the smaller fighter. He lost to Charles Byrd, which in my opinion is not a good win at all. Not a good loss at all to have. I get that he was in the UFC, but really, bit of a stinky loss there. He even got subbed by Max Griffin. Max Griffin's good, but to get subbed by him is just, a bit weird. So I'm going to go with Ramazan Kurmagomedov here. I think he will just take Randall down, probably just beat him up on the ground a little bit. Probably get a submission here. I can see him getting a submission. Randall Wallace does seem very susceptible to getting subbed, so I will go with Ramazan here by submission. Then moving on the card, we have Cody Law versus Jefferson Pontes. This is an interesting fight. I think I have watched Cody Law fight before. He's not horrible, but I'm going to go with the undefeated Brazilian here. This seems sort of like a setup fight. Bellator see a new, fresh name they can probably, promote, even though this could be their last event. Who knows? But I will go with Jefferson Pontes here. He's got a decent record. I can just see him getting this one done. I'm sorry, this isn't going to be how I do most of the card, trust me. But then moving on, we have Islam Mammadov versus Kilias Mota. This is very interesting. This is actually an interesting fight. Islam Mammadov, a bit overhyped in my opinion. People just sort of overhyped him because his name was Islam and he is Dagestani. I don't really know much about his opponent, if I'm being honest here. Has been knocked out by Austin Hubbard, got head kick KO'd by Derek Anderson. Islam Mammadov ain't really the biggest finishing threat. I'll go with Islam Mammadov here, but I'm not super confident on it, but I can just see him sort of grinding out to a victory here. Then moving on, we have Mike Hamill versus Tim Wide. The Experiment, as he's called. A lot of these Bellator cards are a bit hard. So Mike Hamill, Magic Mike, as he's known, does sort of look like Magic Mike. At least his photo looks like a smaller version of Magic Mike, but he's lost to his Usman Nurmagomedov, which isn't like a horrible loss. He's been KO'd by Tonino Gavino, got armbarred by Jordan Winsky, got DQ'd against Bruno Souza. That's the same Bruno Souza I'm thinking about. Is that the one who was in the UFC? Yeah, that is, So not a horrible loss. And he did get DQ'd, so I don't know how that fight was going. Went to a split decision with Adam Borek. So I'm going to go with Mike I'm going to go with Mike Hamill here. Just seems like he's beaten the better level of competition. He is younger. But then the experiment did beat Sal Rogers. Sal Rogers not a bad win. He's been KO'd a few times. Yeah, I'll go with Mike Hamill here. Jesus Christ, I really don't know many of these guys. Let's just speed pass on these guys. So we got Richard Palacino versus Mateus Matos. Go with Matos here. Why am I going with him? He's got a goatee. I'll go with him. So I'm just going to skip through these fights where I really don't know these guys. I didn't realize there was so many filler fights on here. Kerry Taylor Melendez versus the Turkish fighter Sabria Sengul. Oh, hello. I'm gonna take Taylor Melendez here. I think she'll get this one done. Then there's Archie Coogan versus Peter Boyest. I'll go with the undefeated fighter here, Archie Colgan. You'd imagine this is sort of like a built-up fight for him, so I'll take him. All right, here's a fight I do know some stuff about. Timur Kizrayev versus Justin Gonzalez. This is a really good fight. I think if I'm thinking of right, guys, Gonzalez, the guy who. Okay, no, I think I'm thinking of the wrong guy, but he's good. He's got a win over Kai Kamaka. Beat Andrew Fisher, and then he lost to Mads Burnell, but that's not like a bad loss. Oh, he lost to Aaron Pico. I was like, I remember his name, but no, he's not one of the guys who beat Aaron Pico. But he did fight Aaron Pico. He's not horrible, but I am going to take Tamir Kizrayev here. He's the brother of Ashkabab Kizrayev, who has finally he's got a fight booked, but if he makes it to the fight, that is the bigger question. But I am going to take Timur Kizrayev. He is actually very decent. He's got some good wins. So yeah, I am going to take the smaller Kizrayev brother, even though the other brother could probably fight at 145, but I guess he likes his food a bit. Denise Keeler-Holtz versus Sunuka Inaba. I'm going to go with the 6-0 fighter here. It is women's MMA, and it's Bellator women's MMA, so I know fucking nothing about this. So I am going to go with Samuka Inaba. Then we have Tyrell Fortune versus Marcelo Gome. I'm going to take Fortune here. Marcelo Gome has just taken so much fucking damage at this point. Got KO'd his last fight. Got brutally KO'd by Sergey Pavlovich. He has won a few fights, but not against like the greatest guys. Tyrell Fortune is actually a very decent fighter. He did get elbowed by Daniel James, but besides that, he's putting on good performances. Split decision to Linton Vassell is very, that's not a bad loss by any means, because Linton Vassell is like running through people at this point in his career. So yeah, I'm going to take Tyrone Fortune here. I think he'll catch Marcelo Gome. Now we get on to some good fights. Okay, so Patricky Pitbull versus Alexander Shabili? Shabili, sorry. I used to always call him Shabili like he was a fucking redneck. So this is an interesting fight. Just to get my prediction out of the way, I am going to be taking Shabili here. I think Shabili is generally a very good fighter. Very fun fighter to watch. Was in talks to actually be in the UFC, but instead, he's gone through this Bellator path. And I think he's going to run through Patricky Pitbull, if I'm being honest. I don't think Patricky's all that. Like, I generally don't think he's like that good. He's obviously the worst brother. That's not controversial to say. Patricio is the much better brother. Yeah, I just see Shabili is like better everywhere in this fight. He's a better striker. He can probably wrestle his way to victory here. I just don't see where Patricky's going to give him problems. Maybe I've just jinxed him. Maybe Patricky's going to go 50-45 him because these are 5-round bouts. But I do think Shabili will get this one done. And I think he's going to look pretty good in this fight. Shabili, very good fighter. Yeah, not much else to say, man. I think he's going to get this one done. I'm pretty sure Usman Nurmagomedov is out of the tournament as well because he popped. So, be interesting to see who the winner of this does fight. But, yeah. So apparently that's the fight that's opening up the card. I don't know. I feel like this isn't in the right order for looking at Tapology, but still. We've got AJ McKee versus Sydney Outlaw. Sydney Outlaw, got a decent win over Islam Mammadov, but before they got brutally KO'd by Tofik Musayev, who ended up losing to the aforementioned Alexander Shabley. You know, Sydney Outlaw's not that bad, really. He's actually pretty good. He's very underrated. You know, lost to Greg Gillespie, lost to Michael Chandler. Not bad losses. And then, like I mentioned, Tavik. But he has been KO'd a few times. Actually went to a split decision with Greg Gillespie, which is pretty impressive when you think about it. But I'm going to take AJ McKee here. I do think this is a fight he'll win. You know, I know he didn't look amazing against Spike Carlisle. Like, that was decently competitive. But Spike Carlisle is just a wild man. He's going to bring that type of fight. It's like a Trevor Peek situation. Like, when someone's coming at you that wild, then, yeah, it's a bit hard to prepare for a fucking car crash. Like, even if you're in a car, even if you know you're going to be in a car crash, it's going to be messy. And that's the best way I can describe fighting Spike Carlisle. It's just always going to be a bit of a messy little incident. But yeah, I am going to take AJ McKee here. I think he will TKO Sydney Outlaw. Sydney Outlaw been chinned a few times. Obviously, Michael Chandler, very hard hitter, and Tafik Mozea, very just technical fighter as well. But I think I see AJ McKee catching him with like a head kick, if I'm being honest. That's how I see this one going. And yeah, interesting to see what's next, because I think AJ McKee will probably fight for like Misfits or something, because he's a happy punch fighter. So he is literally under fucking Team Stars, like little organization, which is very fucking interesting to see. Yeah, not something I ever thought I'd be saying, so that'll be interesting to see who he gets. But yeah, moving up, we have the fucking fight that makes absolutely no sense. This fight sort of annoys me and makes me realize why Bellator needs to be bought out. So they rebooked Rafion Stotts versus Danny Sabatello. I get that they have some beef and everything, and Sabatello talks some shit, but this fight makes absolutely no sense, like whatsoever. It is a very, very fucking stupid matchup to make. Like, generally, this is why Bellator is going out of business. Like, they're rebooking a fight that was fucking horribly boring in the first place. Like, this first fight fucking sucked. It was horrible. Danny Sabatello just wrestled him. Did no damage, but just wrestled him. Stotts did more damage, ends up getting the victory. One of the judges gives it 50-45 Sabatello, and the other two give it to Rafion Stotts, which is just fucking insane to see. Very fucking weird fight. Not a fight I ever thought needed to be ran back, if I'm being honest. And I think Stotts would just get this one done again. I just think he's too damaging for Sabatello. Sabatello does no damage. He just wrestles. Just wrestles. Maybe if he made some adjustments, he could actually get this one done. Like, maybe if he did some damage, but he doesn't. He does no damage in his fights. It's very frustrating to watch. The whole time I'm watching, I was like, come on, Danny, you can fucking win this. Just throw a few punches. But he sort of just seems content on getting people down and then just not doing anything. It's a frustrating fight to watch. You know, he's a fun character. I like his trash talk and everything, but it's not ideal if you want to win fights, mate. It's just not. It's not an ideal style. Like, he's not in there to fight. He's just in there to, like, grind out a victory. But it doesn't work like this. It's not 2000 anymore. You know, it's not the year 2000. We don't go off control time to win victories. We don't go off that to win. So, yeah, I don't know. Sorry, I just got a fucking ad for some reason. As I was looking through some stuff. But, yeah, I'm going to go with Rafion Stotts. I just think he will get this one done. Like, how the fuck does he not? Like, surely he gets this one done. Surely he isn't. Like, all it takes is he's got the finishing threat the whole fucking fight. Sabatello does not. He does no damage. I like Sabatello, but I do think he's going to lose this, unfortunately. Then we have Sergio Pettis versus Patchy Mix, sorry. Very, very interesting fight. Very, very good fight. This is actually a really good fight. It's crazy to see Sergio Pettis, you know, on quite the run, if we're being honest. He is on a very good run. Beat Patricio Pitbull. Then he beat Horiguchi by fucking 4th round KO. Beat Archuleta. And then, you know, back in the UFC, lost to like Rob Font, Jussier Formiga, Henry Cejudo. You know, not bad losses. Brian Benoit, a bit of a weird one, and then lost to Alex Caceres, but, you know, not a bad one at all either. But I'm going to take Patchy Mix here. I think he's looking really good. He's looking at his career best. Only loss is to one Archuleta. I know, Sergio Pettis beat Archuleta, but, MMA math doesn't work. He is fucking massive. Let's just say that. Patchy Mix is a big, big fucking bantamweight. Like, this guy is fucking massive. He does not look like a bantamweight. He's 5'11". Sergio Pettis, former flyweight, like, genuine size flyweight. And, I just see Patchy Mix getting this one done. Like, I can't not pick Patchy Mix here. He's so much bigger. I think he's not got the biggest reach advantage, 2.5 inches, but still he's got a reach advantage. He's a better grappler, I would say. I just don't see, it might be a bit of an exaggeration, but I don't see how he loses this. He's just so fucking massive, and he is looking really good. Knocked out Rafian Stotts, choked out Magomedov, beat Horiguchi as well, beat James Gallagher, but it's not like the greatest win in the world. But then he's got all solid wins. So yeah, I'm gonna take Patchy Mix here. I think he will actually get this one done over Sergio Pettis. But yeah, I can't wait to see how this one goes, man. Like, generally very excited for this fight. Like, I'm not going to even lie, I forgot this card was on, but when I've seen the card was on and I've seen these fights, I'm like, fuck yeah, that's some more fights, so I can make some more reaction videos, let's go. But also, I just love MMA, obviously, as well. Like, I've been excited for this fight for ages. I thought it was going to be Sergio Pettis versus Rafion Stotts the whole time. I was like, damn, Stotts is going to make his way to the, it's going to be teammate versus teammate, but no, I was fucking wrong. Patchy Mix, yeah, he completely threw that out of the way. Fucking boom, flush knee, out cold, like craziness, fucking craziness. But yeah, I am gonna take Patchy Mix here. I do think he'll get this one done. I can see a KO. Honestly, he's looking really good with his striking now. He's very powerful, and I just think he might just size bully Sergio Pettis here. He's gonna be so much bigger. You'll see it in that cage. He's gonna be so much bigger. He's thicker, taller. Like, it's actually fucking crazy how much bigger he is. Month older, so no, it's same age, but still fucking massive guy. And then we have the main event. I'm really excited for this fight as well. Yaroslav Amosov versus Jason Jackson. Yeah, I'm going to be taking Yaroslav Amosov here. I do think he will get this one done. Very high on Yaroslav. Be interesting to see what happens for him after the UFC. Now look at the people Jason Jackson's lost to. Lost to Ed Ruth. I'm pretty sure Ed Ruth is a wrestler, very wrestling heavy fighter. Yeah. Look, got literally a fucking wrestling jersey on there. Kyle Stewart, that was an ankle injury. Got rear naked choked by Michael Graves on the Ultimate Fighter, then got KO'd by Hayder Hassan, and then lost a decision to Colby Covington. So, not like a horrible fighter. He's got some decent losses. Like, he's not losing to like bums or schmucks. He is generally a decent fighter. But I just think Yaroslav, he looked amazing in that fight. His last fight against Logan Storley. The first fight with Storley was very competitive. But in that second fight with Storley, he was just beating him up on the feet. His striking looked so improved. Like, he actually generally looks so well-rounded. And I think he can just sort of dominate this fight against Jason Jackson everywhere. I do think he will have to wrestle here, though. Obviously, Jason Jackson does have some decent takedown defense, but I do just think Yaroslav Amosov is that good. He can just go in there and sort of dominate Jason Jackson. But I'm very excited for this fight, man. Yaroslav, very improved, very good striker. And with a win here, I don't know what happens to all the former Bellator contracts with this whole PFL deal or something. But we could see this guy in the UFC, and 28-0 is a very, very nice record in the UFC, and he's beaten some like stiff competition recently. So I wouldn't be opposed to seeing like Yaroslav Amosov get to the UFC and get like a top 10 opponent or something like that. Like, I really wouldn't be opposed to that. Like, I wouldn't mind it. 28-0, that is a very good record. But we'll see what happens for him next year. But I do think he'll get this fight done. I think he can just sort of dominate. I just think he can dominate Jason Jackson wherever this goes. I could generally see him having a lot of success on the feet here. I know Jason Jackson is the ass-kicking machine, as his nickname is. That is his nickname. But I do just think Yaroslav, I'm not going to say he's a striking advantage. Obviously, Jason Jackson, very powerful guy, very good fighter. But, I think he's he's very good with his kickboxing. I could see him actually having a lot of success, especially with a takedown threat here. You know, I could see, because he's so well rounded, I could just sort of see him just outclassing Jason Jackson a little bit here, mixing up the takedowns with his striking. You know, teeing off on him on the feet, then boom, gets a takedown. He's got Jackson down, just beats him up on the ground. So I'm going to go with Yaroslav Amosov getting a decision here, and I think he'll be very dominant, 50-45. Maybe a 10-8, who knows? But yeah, I am going to be taking Yaroslav Amosov in this fight. And yeah, if this is the last for Bellator, farewell, old friend, because you know I actually enjoy these Bellator cards, and it will be a shame if this is the end. But hopefully they can keep Bellator going, and we can keep getting all these cards. Hopefully, you know, PFL will keep them having the same sort of schedule, so we can get like heaps of fights from all the promotions, and there's still plenty of places for all the MMA fighters to fight. Because you know it's always good to have competition. If there's competition, it means all the other promotions have to step up their game, and it also means there's more fights to watch. So yeah, that's just my final take on that. But yeah, if you made it this far into the video, make sure you give it a like. Let me know your predictions in the comments below. I'm sorry, some of my earlier picks were a bit unprofessional, but I don't have the time to go watch tape on some of these guys. And at the end of the day, most people are here to just hear my predictions on the main card sort of fights. But yeah, I apologize. I'm normally a very professional with my picks, but when it comes to this, I didn't have much time to prep, so yeah, I apologize for that. Most times I am actually very professional, but yeah. So yeah, thank you for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks, I appreciate it.